Hi friends, whether you have kids going back to school or not, I'm showing you how and where to save big this month, plus revisiting some of my top savings tips. I'm also excited to highlight some incredible young people in today's show, starting out by cooking with my son in the kitchen to share a delicious recipe we've made our own in the past few months. Next, I'll introduce you to a powerful and semi-sweet sister duo using fashion to empower young women everywhere. And finally, I'm catching up with a popular blogger and author to encourage moms right where we are in today's uncertain climate. So text a friend and tell them you're about to be encouraged, equipped, and inspired like never before. Welcome to the Sami Cone Show.
From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Sami Cone Show, sponsored by Soundwaves at Gaylord Opryland.
Whether or not you have kids going back to school virtually or in person, or whether you have kids at all, I want to show you where you can still save big on everything from back to school supplies and more, plus what you should wait on. So this is a great time of year to do some shopping, okay? Again, back to school is just a moniker. Even though tax-free weekend has passed, you're going to be surprised to find that there's actually some really good sales going on. My first tip is to make sure you shop in some unexpected places. So what do I mean by that? Make sure when you're shopping for your supplies that you shop not only at the office supply stores and the drugstores, but sometimes the dollar stores or even places where you wouldn't think to get traditional things. For instance, you could actually find toilet paper at some of those office supply stores and use some of those bigger coupons. And what I like about this time of year is that even though tax-free weekend has gone, you'll find better overall sales now. So what you're going to do is make sure that you shop during a sale time, but then if you can, shop online as well and use a site like Rakuten where you can actually get cash back on your purchases. So what do I mean by that? Let's take school shoes, for instance. My kids get one new pair of shoes every school year. And so this is actually a pair that my daughter's wanted for a long time. She's been waiting. And so we were, again, going to wait for tax-free weekend. But what I discovered was that there were better prices afterwards. So we got hers at Foot Locker. I was able to use a 20% off coupon plus save an additional 10% off with a cashback site. And again, it's safer because we're shopping online. Same thing with my son. I shopped his on Nike.com. I had a 20% off code for my birthday that I used for him, got free shipping. And so I was able to stay in my budget just by making sure I watched those sales cycles. And again, you don't have to have kids to take advantage of these deals. Now, I do want to talk about electronics because a lot of us are needing to upgrade our electronics if you do have kids going back to school virtually. And so one thing that Apple is doing is that they're actually offering free AirPods with the purchase of certain iPads and computers. So what we did is that we upgraded. So we've got the new device, we got the free AirPods, and then we sold our kids old ones. And so we were able to take that money that we sold through a Facebook Marketplace, eBay, any of those online places, and then put it towards the price of the new device. You also can actually trade in if you feel more comfortable. If you don't want to sell electronics online, you can actually also do trade-ins at places like Apple or Best Buy as well. So when you're thinking about how much your budget is to spend, think about how much you can put towards it by selling some of those old devices as well. Now the key here too is to think about what do you need to buy now, what can you buy later. A lot of times schools will ask you to send in a lot of supplies, but because we're not all going back at once, you don't have to shop all at once. Do you hear that? So don't think about shopping for the entire school year right now. Think about shopping for just this month if that's what your budget allows, or maybe this semester if that's what your budget will allow. Consider buying things that your kids need now and then saving some of the things for later. So if they don't need to buy all of the Ziploc bags, all of the dry erase markers, all of the glue sticks now, space it out over the next few months. Another thing is deciding where to spend your money. So I don't know about you guys. Water bottles are a big waste in our house because they get lost. I'm not going to mention who loses them, but a lot of times they get lost, left in a locker, stolen. So these are not things that we spend a lot of money on, as opposed to something like clothing where you know they're going to be wearing it all year. Try to find things like Cat and Jack or Land's End where they actually have a rebate or a lifetime guarantee, things like backpacks. Those are the things where you want to invest your money, and that way you know that it's going to stick with you for that whole year, as opposed to a water bottle that honestly you could probably get as a freebie somewhere. So these are just a few of the tips. I've got all of these back to school savings and more over at samicone.com. The key is to know your budget, know your sales cycles, know where you like to shop, and then be willing to just kind of look around at some places that you might not otherwise think that you could save. I've got some more great tips. I can't wait for you to see everything else I'm sharing on today's show.